Today, we set forth on an extraordinary journey, guided by the enduring wisdom of Stoicism. The great philosopher Epictetus once remarked, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This simple yet profound statement serves as the foundation of our exploration into the enigmatic power of silence. But silence, in the Stoic sense, is far more than just the absence of words. It is a deliberate, strategic tool, a wellspring of strength, and a gateway to profound wisdom. In this video from the Top Stoic channel, we're not merely examining the act of withholding speech. Instead, we are uncovering the hidden mastery behind those who embrace silence not out of hesitation, but as an intentional choice. Throughout history, the ability to speak less and observe more has distinguished the truly wise from the reckless. Those who understand the art of silence navigate life with clarity, patience, and an unmatched depth of insight. The Stoics, including Seneca and Marcus Aurelius, recognized silence as a force of great significance. It is a mirror that reflects the true essence of our character, revealing who we are beneath the surface. In a world driven by noise and ceaseless chatter, the ability to remain silent is a rare virtue, none that empowers us to think before we react, to listen before we judge, and to respond with intention rather than impulse. A person who speaks sparingly is not devoid of thoughts but rather chooses to refine them before voicing them. They understand that words, once spoken, cannot be retrieved. A moment's patience in silence can prevent a lifetime of regret. In contrast, those who speak without thought often expose their own lack of control, allowing emotions to dictate their words rather than wisdom. True intelligence is not measured by the number of words one speaks, but by the precision with which one chooses them. The wise know that silence is not a void, it is an eloquence of its own. It demands discipline, self-awareness, and the ability to remain composed even when provoked. A well-timed pause can hold more power than 1,000 spoken words. Throughout this journey, we will unveil 10 transformative qualities of those who have mastered the art of speaking less. These traits are not mere habits, they are a way of life, a philosophy that has withstood the test of time. As we delve deeper, you will discover how silence can become a force that strengthens the mind, sharpens judgment, and unlocks a level of wisdom few ever attain. Now, let's explore these 10 characteristics with the Top Stoic channel to make our lives easier, less stressful, and especially smarter. Don't forget to click the subscribe button to continue exploring the interesting things about Stoicism in our daily lives. Let's get started. Number 1. Silence, the invisible weapon that confounds your opponent. In the realm of Stoic wisdom, silence is far from passive. It is a calculated move, a tactical maneuver that can unsettle adversaries and shift the balance of power. It is the art of patience, of waiting for the precise moment to act while leaving your opponent lost in uncertainty. To understand the strategic depth of silence, we turn to Sun Tzu, the legendary military strategist and philosopher. In The Art of War, Sun Tzu emphasized that true victory often comes not from direct confrontation, but from mastering the psychological battlefield. One of his core teachings is the power of concealment, keeping one's intentions hidden to create an air of mystery and unpredictability. When an opponent is unable to discern your next move, they are forced into a state of hesitation and speculation. Their focus shifts from their own strategy to an anxious anticipation of yours. This, in itself, is a victory. Silence, in this context, is not inaction. It is an invisible force that disrupts, unsettles, and ultimately controls the battlefield. Sun Tzu's wisdom teaches us that restraint can be more powerful than reaction. The moment you speak, you reveal your thoughts, your plans, and your weaknesses, but in silence, you maintain control. You dictate the tempo of the engagement. Your adversary, drowning in uncertainty, is left second-guessing themselves while you remain composed, poised, and in command. Yet, this principle extends far beyond warfare. In our daily lives, silence can be an equally powerful tool. It is a mark of self-assurance, an unshakable confidence that speaks volumes without uttering a single word. When confronted with conflict, responding with silence can shift the dynamic in your favor, forcing the other party to reveal more than they intend, exposing their vulnerabilities, and often leading them to defeat themselves. The Stoic philosopher Seneca once observed, "He who does not know how to be silent will not know how to speak." This is the essence of wisdom. Those who wield silence with purpose understand its weight. They recognize that timing, patience, and restraint are often more effective than any spoken argument. As we continue our journey into the depths of Stoicism, let us reflect on this silent power. Some of the greatest victories in life are not won through words, but through the mastery of silence, an art form that few truly understand. Yet those who do wield it with unparalleled finesse. Number 2. Eliminating distractions. The silent path to mastery. In the grand journey of life, particularly for those navigating the demanding years between 30 and 65, mastering the art of eliminating distractions becomes not just a skill, but a necessity. This period is often filled with responsibilities, career pressures, family obligations, and the relentless flood of digital noise. Amidst this chaos, the ability to carve out moments of silence is what separates the truly focused from the perpetually overwhelmed. We live in an age of constant interruption. Notifications buzz, emails pile up, and the world demands our attention at every turn. Yet, in the stillness of silence, we reclaim control. It is within these quiet moments that we gain the clarity to think, to strategize, and to make deliberate choices. The great minds of history, Stoic philosophers, visionary leaders, and innovative thinkers, understood this well. They sought solitude not as an escape, but as a means to sharpen their intellect and refine their judgment. The human mind thrives in stillness. When freed from distractions, it begins to wander in ways that lead to innovation, problem-solving, and deep insight. Ideas take shape in the absence of noise. Connections form, and solutions emerge that would otherwise be lost in the endless stream of external input. The silent strategist remains composed even in chaos, seeing beyond the immediate distractions to the larger picture, the grand chessboard of life, where every move is calculated and intentional. In today's world, oversaturated with data, silence serves as a filter. It helps us distinguish between what is essential and what is mere noise. Those who cultivate silence develop a keen sense of presence, fully engaging with the moment at hand rather than being pulled in 100 different directions. This is not just about focus, it is about unlocking an untapped reservoir of productivity and creativity. When you do choose to speak, your words hold weight. They are not reactionary but considered, formed in the crucible of silence, where every angle has been examined, every possibility explored. Silence is not inaction, it is preparation. It is the pause before a decisive move, the breath before the leap. Nature itself offers us a lesson in this. In the stillness of a forest, in the calm of an untouched landscape, we rediscover the beauty of simplicity. In silence, we reconnect with the essential. To master life, one must master the ability to quiet the distractions, embrace silence, strip away the unnecessary, and think with intention. In these moments of clarity, you become the true architect of your destiny. Number 3. The magnetic power of silence. Picture yourself in a crowded room, the air buzzing with overlapping conversations, laughter, and the constant hum of voices. Then, without warning, a pause, an unexpected silence blankets the space. Instinctively, heads turn toward the one who remains still, the one who exudes quiet composure. This is the power of silence. It commands attention without the need for a single word. Consider a familiar scene in a classroom. A teacher stands before a room of restless students, their voices blending into a whirlwind of distractions. Attempts to regain control through louder commands often go unheard, lost in the chaos. Yet, when the teacher simply stops speaking, when they stand in deliberate silence, the energy shifts. The students, one by one, take notice. Their chatter fades, and suddenly, the teacher has their undivided attention. This moment is a testament to an undeniable truth. Silence, when used purposefully, is a force that captivates. In the philosophy of Stoicism, silence is more than just an absence of noise. It is presence, a quiet confidence that speaks volumes without needing expression. Those who master silence do not merely listen, they observe, they perceive, and they understand what is left unspoken. They grasp emotions, read between the lines, and navigate human interactions with a depth that words alone cannot achieve. Far from being passive or detached, the silent individual becomes an anchor in any gathering, drawing others in with an almost magnetic allure. Charisma is often associated with grand speeches, commanding voices, and bold gestures, but true charisma, the kind that lingers long after a person has left the room, is often found in the quiet strength of presence. A great leader doesn't inspire solely through words, they do so through intention, through carefully chosen moments of speech, and through the silent empowerment of those around them. When they finally speak, their words carry weight, not because they are loud, but because they are deliberate, imbued with thoughtfulness and purpose. Beyond conversation, the power of silence manifests in the smallest, yet most profound, actions. A reassuring glance, a warm smile, a thoughtful pause before responding, a gesture of kindness that requires no explanation. These silent moments carry an emotional resonance that words often fail to convey. They communicate sincerity, strength, and wisdom in a way that verbal expressions sometimes cannot. To embrace the silent art of charisma is to cultivate a presence that speaks louder than words ever could. It is to move through the world with authenticity, drawing people in not through forceful expression but through an undeniable sense of depth and understanding. Let your silence be a beacon, a quiet force that transforms not only your own path but also the lives of those around you. For within the tranquility of your being lies a rare kind of power, the power to enchant, to influence, and to lead, without ever needing to raise your voice. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom, a lesson that stands the test of time. Number 4. Silence as a source of strength. Many people shy away from silence, fearing it as a sign of loneliness or isolation. They seek external validation, believing that constant engagement with others affirms their worth. Yet, paradoxically, This relentless pursuit of approval weakens their inner resolve. They become dependent on the shifting opinions of others, losing touch with their own sense of self. However, within the stillness of silence lies a hidden strength, a power that emerges when we embrace solitude rather than run from it. In the quiet moments, free from distractions and the expectations of others, we are confronted with our truest selves. There are no facades to maintain, no performances to uphold. It is in this state of introspection that we uncover a deep and unshakable resilience, one that does not rely on external affirmation. Stoic philosophy teaches us that solitude is not a void to be feared but a mirror reflecting our authentic essence. When we learn to stand alone, unaffected by the judgments of those around us, we cultivate a strength that cannot be easily shaken. Consider the example of a high school student preparing for an important exam. In the weeks leading up to the test, their peers constantly discuss their study methods, comparing notes and seeking reassurance from one another. The atmosphere is filled with anxiety, each student measuring their preparedness against the next. Amidst this noise, however, one student chooses a different approach. Influenced by Stoic principles, they embrace silence and solitude, using it as an opportunity for self-reflection. Instead of being swayed by the nervous chatter of their classmates, they step away from the comparisons, focusing instead on their own preparation. In these quiet moments, they assess their knowledge honestly, without the influence of external pressures. As the exam approaches, the student remains composed. Their confidence is not built on the opinions of others but on the certainty that they have done the work. While those around them succumb to stress and self-doubt, they draw strength from within. The silence they once feared has become their greatest ally, allowing them to enter the exam room with clarity and assurance. This story illustrates a profound Stoic truth. Silence is not emptiness, but a space where true power is cultivated. Seneca once said, "True happiness is to enjoy the present without anxious dependence upon the future." In this context, the student's ability to be fully present in their solitude, free from the need for external validation, embodies the wisdom of Stoicism. By embracing silence, we too can develop a quiet but unshakable strength. We can detach from the fleeting judgments of others and find confidence within ourselves. In doing so, we discover that true resilience is not about proving our worth to the world. It is about knowing it deeply, even when no one is watching. Number 5. The silent strength of humility. In the quiet embrace of silence, one discovers the power to shed the heavy armor of pride and arrogance. True freedom does not come from asserting one's superiority but from recognizing our shared humanity. The strongest individuals are not those who boast of their achievements but those who act with quiet dignity, allowing kindness to be its own reward. A truly wise person understands that humility is not weakness, it is a sign of inner strength, a willingness to acknowledge faults, and a commitment to self-improvement. The path of silent humility is not without its challenges. It requires us to let go of ego, to listen before speaking, and to seek understanding rather than validation. Those who embody this trait do not seek the spotlight. They find fulfillment in being genuine, in letting their actions speak louder than words. To be humble is not to belittle oneself but to recognize that we are all part of something greater. Humility is evident in small, meaningful gestures, the hand extended in kindness, the willingness to help without expecting recognition, the grace to admit when one is wrong. It is a bridge that connects people across differences, transcending social status, cultural divides, and personal beliefs. It reminds us that no matter our achievements, we are still human, still learning, still growing. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "It is not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." This wisdom teaches us that humility is not about external circumstances but about our internal response. In choosing humility, we free ourselves from the burden of arrogance and pride. We shift our focus from seeking validation to cultivating true wisdom. In today's world, where self-promotion is often seen as a necessity, choosing humility can feel like an act of quiet rebellion. Yet, it is through humility that we form deeper connections with others, relationships built on mutual respect, trust, and authenticity. It allows us to learn from every encounter, to grow from our experiences, and to find peace in knowing that we do not need to prove our worth to anyone. As you move through life, remember, humility is not about diminishing yourself. It is about lifting others and recognizing the value in every person you meet. This perspective not only enriches your life but also brings a sense of fulfillment that no amount of external praise or validation can provide. In silence, in humility, lies the greatest strength of all. Number 6. The silent art of negotiation. In the world of Stoicism, silence is not just the absence of words, it is a tool of immense power. Especially in the realm of negotiation. Imagine you are sitting in a salary discussion. You have done your research. You know your worth, and you are prepared to state your case. The company makes an offer, but it falls short of your expectations. At this moment, your response will determine the direction of the conversation. Instead of immediately objecting or reacting emotionally, you pause. This silence is not hesitation, it is strategy. A deliberate pause gives you time to gather your thoughts, ensuring that your response is measured and precise. But more importantly, it has a psychological effect on the other party. Your silence compels them to fill the void, often leading them to second-guess their offer. Did we offer too little? Should we reconsider? This moment of quiet uncertainty works in your favor, increasing the likelihood of an improved proposal. This concept is deeply rooted in Stoic philosophy. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, was known for his restraint in speech. He believed that wisdom comes not from speaking impulsively, but from thoughtful deliberation. By controlling when and how we respond, we maintain power over the conversation. Silence, when used intentionally, shifts the balance in negotiations, allowing us to dictate the pace and steer the discussion toward a favorable outcome. The lesson here is simple yet profound. In negotiation, silence is not passivity, it is an active strategy. It is a pause that speaks volumes. So, the next time you find yourself in a negotiation, whether for a job, a contract, or even a personal matter, remember that silence can be your greatest ally. A well-timed pause may be the key to securing what you truly deserve. Beyond negotiation, silence plays a crucial role in another fundamental aspect of life, kindness. In Stoic thought, kindness is not just an act, it is a conscious choice. A reflection of our deep interconnectedness with others. The Stoics referred to this as sympathia, the belief that all living beings are connected. Consider the moments when kindness leaves a lasting impact. It could be the gentle presence of a nurse tending to a patient, the unwavering support of a teacher who believes in their student's potential, or the quiet reassurance of a friend who listens without judgment. True kindness does not require grand gestures or public recognition. Its strength lies in its sincerity. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic emperors, once said, "Kindness is mankind's greatest delight." This is evident in countless everyday acts of compassion. It is seen in firefighters risking their lives to save others, environmental activists working tirelessly to protect the planet, and ordinary individuals who choose to uplift rather than tear down. In a world that often rewards loudness and aggression, kindness thrives in the quiet. A thoughtful gesture, a genuine smile, a moment of patience, these small yet powerful acts ripple outward, creating waves of positive change. Even in speech, those who speak less but do so with intention and care hold greater influence. They understand the weight of words and choose to use them wisely. As we navigate life, let us embody both the strategic power of silence in negotiation and the quiet strength of kindness in our daily interactions. The Stoic path is one of wisdom, restraint, and compassion, qualities that, when embraced, not only shape our own character but also enrich the world around us. Number 7. The Ripple Effect of Kindness, a story of connection and compassion. The top Stoic Channel team has read, listened to, and collected a lot of Stoic material. Among them, we have 7 deeply inspiring stories that we think need to be shared to everyone. At least to the Stoic community. Their experiences are woven together by a common thread: the power of human connection, the courage to support others, and the transformative nature of compassion. Marcus and the beggar. Marcus, a Roman senator, encountered a beggar shivering in the cold. Instead of merely giving him coins, Marcus removed his own cloak and draped it over the man's shoulders. When questioned by a friend, he replied, "We must give not just from our wealth, but from our very being." Inspired by Stoic values, Marcus believed that true generosity was an act of shared humanity, not just obligation. The beggar, overwhelmed, later returned with a small wooden carving as thanks, teaching Marcus that kindness creates ripples beyond the immediate act. Lucia and the Dying Bird. Lucia, a merchant's daughter, found a wounded bird struggling in the marketplace. Instead of ignoring it, she gently lifted the creature and took it home. Her father scolded her for wasting time, but she replied, "Even the smallest being deserves dignity." She nursed the bird back to health, and when it flew away weeks later, she understood a deeper Stoic truth: we control our actions, but not the outcomes. Our duty is to act with kindness without expecting reward. Seneca and the Slave. Seneca, the philosopher, noticed one of his slaves suffering in silence. Instead of punishing him for working slowly, he asked about his troubles. The man hesitated but eventually admitted he was grieving his lost family. Seneca, moved by his pain, allowed him time to mourn, stating, "Pain does not discriminate between master and servant. We are all bound by fate." This act of compassion reinforced his belief that wisdom should be paired with humanity. Cassius and the Enemy Soldier. Cassius, a Roman general, captured an enemy soldier after a brutal battle. Instead of executing him, he treated his wounds and set him free. When his men questioned him, Cassius replied, "Fate has placed us on different sides, but that does not strip us of our shared humanity." Years later, the same soldier, now a respected leader, spared Cassius' son in battle, proving that a single act of mercy can echo through time. Helena and the Weeping Child. Helena, a Stoic teacher, found a lost child crying in the streets of Athens. Instead of passing by, she knelt and comforted him, helping him find his family. When asked why she cared, she said, We do not need grand gestures to practice virtue, only the willingness to see others as part of ourselves. Her simple yet profound kindness left a lasting impression on her students, showing them that philosophy is not just words, but action. Aelius and the lost coin. Aelius, a humble craftsman in Rome, found a small coin on the street. Instead of keeping it, he handed it to a nearby beggar, saying, "Fortune has placed it in my path, but you needed more." The beggar, grateful, used the coin to buy bread and shared it with another hungry soul. Days later, a young merchant, inspired by their generosity, hired the beggar as an apprentice. That single coin, seemingly insignificant, became the first step in transforming a life. When a friend questioned Aelius's act, he replied, "A single drop of kindness may not fill the ocean, but it ripples far beyond what we can see." In true Stoic fashion, he understood that his role was to act virtuously, without concern for the outcome yet. In doing so, he unknowingly set a chain of goodwill into motion. Julia and the candle in the storm. Julia, a scholar in Athens, noticed an elderly woman struggling to carry firewood through a sudden storm. Without hesitation, she stepped in to help, despite the rain drenching her robes. The woman, warmed by this kindness, later offered shelter to a lost traveler during another storm. That traveler, in turn, went on to rescue a shipwrecked sailor. When Julia heard of these events, she smiled and said, "Kindness, like a candle, does not diminish when it lights another, it only spreads." Her simple act of compassion, guided by Stoic principles, became a beacon that continued to shine far beyond her initial gesture. These stories remind us that in Stoicism, virtue is not merely about self-discipline, but also about the quiet, powerful force of human connection. In a world that often prioritizes ambition over empathy, these narratives challenge us to pause, reflect, and extend a hand. They show us that kindness is not a transaction but a way of life, one that enriches not only those we help but also ourselves. As we navigate the complexities of modern life, let us remember that every interaction is an opportunity to uplift, support, and connect. True kindness requires no grand gestures, only a willingness to see, listen, and care. In doing so, we create a world where compassion is not the exception but the norm. A world where our actions weave together a tapestry of warmth, understanding, and genuine human connection. Number 8. The art of deep listening. The power of silence in a world of noise. Imagine walking through a crowded city street, the air buzzing with overlapping conversations, car horns, and hurried footsteps. Everyone is speaking, some loudly, some urgently, each voice vying for attention. Amidst this chaos, there exists a rare kind of person, one who does not rush to speak, but instead listens. These individuals are masters of deep listening. They understand that true communication is not just about hearing words but about grasping the emotions, intentions, and thoughts that lie beneath them. They absorb the pauses, the hesitations, the unspoken messages that others overlook. And when they finally speak, their words hold weight not because they are loud, but because they are meaningful. The impact of deep listening. A great listener is not merely a passive participant in a conversation. They are fully engaged, making those around them feel seen and understood. They do not listen to reply, they listen to comprehend. This ability transforms them into trusted confidants, wise advisors, and pillars of support in both personal and professional relationships. In friendships and family bonds, Deep listening fosters emotional intimacy. When someone feels truly heard, they feel valued. This strengthens relationships, builds trust, and creates deeper connections. In professional settings, the ability to listen with intention is just as crucial. Those who master this skill navigate complex negotiations, resolve conflicts, and make well-informed decisions. They recognize that every perspective holds a piece of the larger truth. And by listening intently, they gain insights others miss. The wisdom of silence. The Stoic philosopher Epictetus once said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." This simple yet profound statement reminds us that wisdom is often found in restraint. Those who pause to listen gain knowledge. Those who rush to speak often miss it. Deep listening is an art, one that requires patience, empathy, and the willingness to embrace silence. In a world that rewards the loudest voices, let us take inspiration from the quiet listeners, for in their silence lies a wisdom that speaks louder than words ever could. Number 9. The art of reflective wisdom. Speaking with purpose, listening with depth. In the vast landscape of communication, one virtue often goes unnoticed: the power of reflective wisdom. This is not just the ability to speak, but the discipline to remain silent, to think deeply before responding. It is the trait of those who understand that words, once spoken, cannot be taken back, and that silence, when used wisely, holds just as much power as speech. The strength in thoughtful silence. Throughout history, those who have mastered the art of reflection have left the greatest impact. They are the ones who do not rush into conversations with impulsive reactions or hasty judgments. Instead, they pause, allowing themselves the space to process information, to consider perspectives, and to weigh their words with care. The Stoic philosopher Zeno of Citium once stated, "Better to trip with the feet than with the tongue." His wisdom speaks to the idea that careless words can cause greater damage than physical missteps. Those who embrace reflective wisdom recognize that words have consequences, and thus, they choose to wield them with precision and purpose. The value of thoughtful communication. In both personal and professional settings, this ability to reflect before responding is a hallmark of maturity. It signifies emotional intelligence and understanding that not every situation demands an immediate reply, and that sometimes, the greatest insight comes from patience. Such individuals are often sought after for their balanced perspectives and sage advice. Their words, when finally spoken, carry weight because they are the product of careful thought rather than fleeting emotion. They maintain composure in difficult situations, guiding others not through forceful declarations but through measured wisdom. A transformational approach for those who wish to improve their interactions. Adopting this reflective mindset can be life-changing. It shifts the focus from reacting to truly understanding, from merely speaking to communicating with depth. The lesson here is simple. Never underestimate the power of thoughtful silence. It is within these moments of reflection that true wisdom is cultivated, wisdom that allows us to navigate life with greater clarity, purpose, and intention. Number 10. Resilience in the face of adversity. The power of silent strength. Some individuals navigate life's storms with an unwavering calm, not because they lack struggles, but because their silence is a shield of resilience. They do not seek recognition for their hardships, nor do they crave validation from others. Instead, they face challenges with quiet determination, emerging not just intact but even stronger. The silent fortitude of the resilient. Imagine standing in the midst of a raging storm, yet remaining composed, like the eye of a hurricane, calm, steady, unshaken. This is the essence of true resilience. While chaos swirls around them, these individuals remain steadfast, their focus locked onto their goals and values. They do not react impulsively to adversity, rather, they endure it with patience and resolve. This quiet strength teaches us an invaluable lesson. True power is not always loud or forceful. Sometimes, it manifests in silent perseverance, in the ability to endure without complaint, in the quiet refusal to be broken by life's hardships. The tree that bends but does not break. Picture a towering tree in the heart of a violent storm. Many branches may snap, weaker trees may topple, but this tree bends, sways with the wind, and withstands the storm. It does not resist rigidly, nor does it break under pressure. Instead, it adapts while remaining firmly rooted. This mirrors the quiet resilience of those who embrace adversity without resistance or despair. They understand that setbacks are not defeats but opportunities for growth. They bend, but they do not break. Their silence is not surrender, it is a reflection of their unshakable inner strength. Embracing resilience as a way of life. As we conclude, let's take a moment to reflect. How can we cultivate this quiet resilience in our own lives? Perhaps it begins with focusing on our inner values, facing difficulties with composure, and finding strength in stillness. In the grand symphony of life, some of the most powerful moments are those left unspoken. Let this truth guide us in our journey toward resilience, not just as a trait, but as a way of being. A final thought: the journey continues. As we conclude this journey through Stoic wisdom, one undeniable truth emerges. Silence is not an absence but a presence, a force that speaks louder than words ever could. In a world that constantly demands our attention, the ability to remain silent, observe, and respond with intention is a rare virtue that sets the truly wise apart. Throughout history, great minds from Marcus Aurelius to Seneca have understood that silence is a wellspring of strength, a sanctuary where clarity is born, and a weapon that disarms without striking. Whether in the form of deep listening, strategic restraint, or quiet resilience, those who speak less often leave the greatest impact. They navigate life with patience, choosing reflection over reaction, understanding over judgment, and wisdom over impulse. We have explored how silence can confound opponents, enhance focus, cultivate humility, and transform the way we negotiate, lead, and connect with others. The stories of Stoic philosophers and historical figures remind us that silence is more than a personal practice. It is a guiding philosophy that fosters self-mastery and deeper human connections. In the face of adversity, the Stoic remains unshaken, not because they are indifferent to challenges, but because they have learned the value of inner stillness. True strength does not always roar. Sometimes, it stands quietly, unwavering, like the tree that bends in the storm but never breaks. As you step forward, consider how you can embrace the art of speaking less and listening more. How can you wield silence not as a retreat, but as a tool for greater insight and influence? How can you let your actions, rather than your words, define the depth of your wisdom? If you found value in this journey, please like, share, and subscribe to the Top Stoic for more insights on living a life of purpose, mindfulness, and inner strength. Remember, personal growth is a continuous path, and every step you take toward embodying these Stoic ideals brings you closer to a life of fulfillment and meaning. Thank you for being part of this journey. Until next time, speak less, listen more, and let your actions reflect the depth of your inner wisdom.